Right out of the gate, Judge Middleton says it loud and clear. He doesn't like being Walmart's enforcer. And honestly, who can blame him? Imagine running a courtroom meant for serious crimes, but instead you're bogged down by $30 cases. Because a self-checkout didn't beep right. That's not justice. It's corporate cost-cutting dumped onto taxpayers.
I don't like being Walmart's enforcer for $32.40. Walmart has made a business decision to use these self-scanners rather than have checkout staff. Good morning.
Good morning.
Find the complaint. This is a formal misdemeanor complaint alleging that on June 20th of 24, you did a retail fraud at the Walmart store in Three Rivers.
Here's where it gets interesting. Skip scanning. That's the official term, but really, it's just when an item doesn't get scanned at checkout. Now think about this. Is it always theft, or could it be human error? That gray area is why so many people end up in court over what might just be an honest mistake. What do you think? Should forgetting to scan a $5 item land someone in court? Or should Walmart be footing the bill for better systems?
And they call it skip scanning. I'm not a big fan of this charge. I rant against it about once a week. Anyway, the way it's charged here under city ordinance, it's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. It's alleged that you were in the checkout lane and you failed to pay for $32.04 worth of merchandise. Good morning, Mr. Moore. If I can find the city attorney, I will see if they would turn this into a civil infraction. I don't like being Walmart's enforcer for $32.40. Walmart has made a business decision to use these self-scanners rather than have checkout staff. And it encourages this sort of thing. This crime didn't exist a few years ago. Now we get a ton of them. So for $32.40, the Three Rivers Police Department has to go out there, respond to this complaint at the cost of the taxpayers, prepare a report, send it to the prosecutor, ask the prosecutor to do a complaint and have you come to court and take up my time. If there was a checkout.
Middleton nails it here. If there were cashiers, none of this would happen. Walmart saves millions by cutting labor, but the cost savings don't vanish. Nope, they shift to you, the taxpayer, who funds the police report, the prosecutor, and yes, even this courtroom time. It's basically corporate outsourcing to the justice system.
Person there, none of this would have happened, but they made a decision that I guess it's more profitable to have some theft, particularly if all this part of it isn't on their dime, but on the taxpayer's dime. So why don't you have a seat, Ms. Harbin? We'll see if we can find the city attorney and see what he's willing to do with this. The city does have what's called a civil infraction. And a civil infraction is not a crime. It is punishable by a fine only, and the normal fine is $100. You have a seat, and we'll come back to this in a minute.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Tim, while you were out, the bailiff will take you out there. We dealt with Regina Harbin. Did you come back before? Not sure where she is. This is a skip scan from Walmart. You know what a fan goes for $32. As far as I can tell, the defendant doesn't have anything. I didn't know if this is the kind of case you would take a civil infraction on.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a good explanation, you'll have it. So infraction still be over. So in the appendix, I don't know.
All right. Ms. Harbin, are you willing to admit to the civil infraction of retail fraud for this incident?
So in talking with the public attorney here, so he's explained what my rights are. I could say guilty and get it over with, which I would.
Wow, this is where the human side cuts through. She isn't some hardened criminal. She's grieving, anxious, and caught in the chaos of life. One missed scan, and suddenly she's branded with retail fraud. It makes you wonder, is the system built to punish intent or just mistakes? And how much empathy should the court weigh when someone's clearly in crisis?
Like to just get it over with.
But this
don't.
isn't guilty.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Because it's not a misdemeanor. So with a civil infraction, you either admit or deny. You could also plead no contest, saying I don't admit what happened, but I also don't deny what happened, and I would allow or accept the conviction enter. I'm going to give you a $100 fine if you do admit to this.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'd rather get it over with, even though I could say no and give an explanation at a later time, but.
Well, tell me what your explanation is. You had a retail fraud about 20 years ago or more, but nothing of this nature since, just some traffic stuff.
Yeah, it truly was an accident. And I remember the day because it was 2 weeks after my sister died, and which happened right after my mother died. So I had been experiencing anxiety, panic attacks. So I was shopping just in a hurry to get out, holding more than one item in each hand and just scanning. So the correct number of items were scanned, but some scanned more than once, some not scanned at all. That's how they came up with $32. But the correct number of items were in the bag. But all I know is I was just trying to get out of there. I was having a panic attack. I was under a lot of duress, stress with the death of my sister just happening, a tragic death at that. So there was no intent. And in the 20 years since I've seen you last, I have not been in any trouble. I would have taken care of it as soon as I knew about the warrant. But I checked with the Three Rivers Police Station on a couple occasions. It hadn't gone through, within a month. I hadn't heard anything. So I just thought it was done and over with. As soon as I found out about it, I went to the jail, paid my bond, and here I am today. So, yeah.
So are you willing to plead no contest to the civil infraction?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, they have very high definition cameras. I just reviewed one yesterday. They had about 20 shots of the lady in the store. And you can watch the video. I haven't watched this video, but clearly see what's going on. We had a lady once, this was a thing, they would take an inexpensive item like a pack of Kool-Aid and hold it under an expensive item like a.
Okay, that story about hiding Kool-Aid under prime rib, that's straight up Ocean's 11 at the grocery store. And yes, that's deliberate fraud. But cases like that are exactly why judges have to separate honest slip-ups from calculated schemes. It's not just about what happened, it's about intent.
Prime rib. and scan a $40 prime rib for $1.19. And you could see it. And so I'm not sure what happened here, but you're willing to admit no contest, and I'm going to accept your plea.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I haven't seen you in 20 years. So what have you been? What do you do now?
I'm on disability, but I do some volunteering at the church. I help out a friend, you know, with their restaurant occasionally when they need it. I have some surgeries coming up, and then I plan to get out and get a real job again. I hope to be employed again, but disability is where I'm at right now.
Okay. Well, you paid a $50 fine, bond.
Yes,
The total fine is $100. $50 bond is applied by $50 bond. Defendant owes $50 by February 7th.
So in the end, it's not a misdemeanor, just a civil infraction with a $100 fine. A sigh of relief for the defendant, and frankly, for common sense. But the bigger issue lingers. Should courts even be dealing with this in the first place? Or should Walmart, the trillion-dollar giant, carry the burden of its own broken system? Let me know in the comments where you stand. Team accountability or team corporate responsibility?
Now, again, this is a civil infraction, not a misdemeanor. And you admitted by no contest. And the report indicates enough factual basis for this charge. All right, Ms. Harbin, you're good to go.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.